having a conversation once with a young lady who was a freshman in college, 19 years old. And I was sharing with her some of the things that I hear in the classroom from high school students. And she said to me, she said, I can't believe these girls are having sex in high school. I didn't lose my virginity until I got to college and I was 19 years old. So during the course of the conversation, I referred to the guy that she said she'd been having sex with for the last 2 to 3 months. I referred to him as her boyfriend. And she said, oh, he's not my boyfriend. And I said, really? She said, no. She said, that was my plan from the very beginning. I never wanted to lose my virginity to someone I was in love with. And I knew why she said it, because I had been hearing high school girls tell me something similar, but I wanted her to tell me. And I said, why is that? And she said, all my girlfriends in high school who lost their virginities to their boyfriends, when the relationship ended, they were devastated. So in order for her to avoid the devastation that would come with the breakup, her solution was to lose your virginity to somebody you're not in love with so that you won't get emotionally attached. And when the sex is over, when y'all stop seeing each other, it's no big deal. And then she proceeded to tell me that she had texted him, I don't know, I can't remember if it was the night before, and she had texted him and said, I need to know where I stand. And I said, what do you mean where you stand? You don't stand anywhere, remember? You chose him to have sex with him because y'all weren't in a relationship. That was your plan, right? I said, obviously it didn't work out too well for you. So then she went on to say, when we were talking about how she was very calculated and she always weighed the pros and cons of all her decisions. And I said, really? I said, so did you know anything about his sexual past? And she said, I said, how many previous sexual partners had he had before you started having sex with him? And she said, 7. And I said, you were okay with that? I said, and the reality is, if he told you 7, it could likely be 14, because what high school boys tell me is that they lowered their number of sexual partners when they are telling a girl how many they've had sex with in order to make her feel safer. And I said, let me share with you a story from a young lady who just cried in my arms 2 weeks ago after class, who was 18 years old, a senior in high school, because she had had sex with one person, her boyfriend of 2 years. He told her he had only had 2 previous sexual partners. She said a year ago, she was diagnosed with HPV, the strain that causes cervical cancer. She had already had to have her cervix scraped twice. And she said she's at high risk of getting cervical cancer because she had the particular strain that causes cervical cancer. I said, and this was a young lady who had only had 1 previous sexual partner who told her he had only had 2, and you're okay with 7. See, that amazes me that girls are now purposely going out and having sex with somebody that they're not in a relationship with, because in their mind, this is going to prevent me from becoming emotionally attached, and so I won't be devastated. So in some regards, I often say girls are the ones who think the relationship is going to last, but in this situation, I think they know it's not going to last, and that's their way of trying not to be hurt when the relationship ends. It's just the insanity of it all. And that's exactly why I wrote my book, 7 Secrets Guys Will Never Tell You, a teen girl's guide on love, sex, and relationships, so that I can help girls who have this kind of flawed thinking, understand that it's flawed. There's information at the end of this video about how you can purchase the book. The good thing about the book is the girls don't just hear from me, but I have excerpts from over 100 letters from high school girls and guys. And I have video clips for each chapter of a teenage guy talking about how he relates to the secrets. And when I wrote the book, I had people pushing back on the fact that I said it was a teen girl's guide, because they said, teenagers aren't the only ones who need this information, because they're adult men who are playing some of the same games that teenage guys play. And you know what? This girl, though she's still a teen, she's not a high school student, she's in college, and clearly she could stand to read the book. But I had a 23-year-old young lady who read the manuscript before I sent the book to the printer, and her endorsement said, I wish I had read this book before every relationship, even in college. So even though it says it's a teen girl's guide, if young ladies don't get this information when they're teenagers or when they are in high school, then they become college students who still need this information. If they don't get it in college, they become adult women who still need this information. So hopefully this book will, stop some of this crazy thinking like this young lady has, that I just need to have sex with somebody that I'm not in love with.